So this video is going to be about a loss of communication with the transmission control module, in particular on a Chevy Captiva, but it should apply to a lot of different Chevy vehicles. As a driver, you'll probably notice that the car might lose power or be shaking or bucking or slamming into gear, but you'll also notice that the dash will have all sorts of warning lights on it. If you have a code scanner, you'll definitely get a U0101 from at least the engine control module in this situation. You'll probably also get a U2106 from the ABS module, both indicating loss of communication with the transmission module. This video will be focused on the GM 6T series of transmission, which have the big plastic TCM inside of the transmission case itself, but the general ideas will apply more broadly to other vehicles as well. All that's required for communication on these particular transmissions is the main power and the main ground, as well as the CAN network lines and the CAN network itself to be up. So on the Captiva in particular, the CAN network is routed through the transmission module to get to the engine control module. So if you can see the engine control module with your scan tool, that means on the Captiva in particular that all the data lines through the transmission control module are good. For the rest of the testing, we're going to want to remove the transmission control module connector from the transmission. I'll show a diagram of vaguely what it should look like in most of the cars. You'll have the transmission on your right hand side as you're looking at the engine, and you'll find the connector in the upper right corner of the big black plate on the transmission. On the Captiva, it made it way easier to remove the washer solvent fill tube, and it was just one bolt and then you pull it out. On the connector itself, normally there's a red or orange locking tab, and you pull it out opposite the direction of the wire loom, so towards its little hanging string. And then underneath the gray lever, there's a little press-in tab that releases the lever, and then you should be able to push the lever to the side and unlock the connector. Once you've done that, you can pull the connector straight out from the transmission and do your testing. On the Captiva, there were a couple Christmas tree clips holding the harness in place, and I removed 2 of them to get myself more wiring to work with to get it up where I could test it easier. To test it, I checked to see if there was battery voltage between pin 1 and 2, the 2 weird pins in the connector, the 2 bigger pins, and you should get battery voltage there. And then I used a headlight bulb wired up to make sure that the wires could carry enough current to run the computer. If your communication was good and your power and ground were good, now you should check the connector to make sure none of the pins are loose or corroded, and then you should check the side on the transmission for the same thing, looking for loose and corroded pins, possibly transmission fluid leakage. Any foreign substance on the pins can cause resistance and cause issues. I did not see anything visibly wrong with anything, but I ended up cleaning the connectors with some contact cleaner just as a last resort, because to replace the module requires special equipment for programming, and I do not own that equipment, so it cost me probably $1,000 or more to have somebody else do the job for me. Oh, there it goes. We got the door locks, the voltage dropped. We're at 12.1. Stopped it.
Yep, it's doing something. Oh.
Another lock.
Just go down one more. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you heard the belt squeal?
Oh, there it goes.
Into neutral. Fan
Yeah, here it is. There it is.
So
that's the jolt that he's feeling. Oh, oh.
Yep, okay. So it shifts into now. I still can't. Okay, so every time the cooling fan kicks on, the voltage drops and you lose communication with the TCM.
these wires go directly to just before the connector. So 12 volts seems to be the sweet spot. So right now it's communicating. Turn the fan up. It's not communicating. So it's the fan on low. We're at 11.8, almost 11.9. We're not communicating. And then 11.92 we are communicating. For the male side of the transmission connector, so basically the part that's down in the car, I broke off the head of a toothbrush, sprayed it with cleaner, and gave it a scrub and let it dry. For the female half, the part connected to the wiring harness, there's these interdental brushes, and you get the small ones and you just go in and out of each pin with some cleaner. Then you let it all dry and put it back together. So after cleaning the plug and the terminals and putting a little dielectric grease in the plug, even down to 10.8, I got everything loaded up. It used to drop out at 11.9, and right now it's at 10.9, and it's still going. Let's see if I'm starting, because the BCM just battery savered. Okay, and that's because I pulled the relay out for the cooling fan.